The Miami Heat would never trade Jimmy Butler before the trade deadline. But what if they did? Let's talk about the potential Jimmy Butler trades. Jimmy Butler has developed into an essential part of the Miami Heat. Since moving to South Beach in 2019, Butler has guided the squad to a couple of NBA Finals berths in 2020 and 2023 in just 5 years. Miami might be looking for a change, though, after both runs failed. It seems likely that Jimmy Butler and Klay Thompson will make a deal with just 1 week to go before the NBA trade deadline. Subtle indications earlier in the season suggested that the Golden State Warriors intended to sell Thompson and gradually start the rebuilding process. After dealing Kyle Lowry, 37, for considerably younger Terry Rozier, 29, the Heat have already made a similar move. Given his tremendous championship experience, the Heat might benefit greatly from having Thompson as their seasoned captain. A deal combining Jimmy Butler and Caleb Martin of Miami for Klay Thompson and Jonathan Kuminga of Golden State may be in the works, according to the All You Can Heat website. Should the Heat trade Jimmy Butler for Klay Thompson? Despite not being able to bring home a title for the Miami Heat throughout his tenure with the team, nobody can deny the greatness that Jimmy Butler has displayed in his 5 years in South Beach. As such, is it the right move for the Heat to let go of Butler? While Thompson is a 4-time champion, he isn't the same player he was during his championship runs. The 33-year-old is averaging 17.6 points, 3.4 rebounds, and 2.4 assists per game. His shooting percentage has also dropped to 42.1% from the field and 38.5% from beyond the arc. As for Jimmy Butler, he's still putting up all-star-worthy numbers with 21.1 PPG, 5.1 RPG, 4.3 APG, and 1.2 SPG. His shooting accuracy is also better than Thompson's, with 42.6% from long range and 49.1% overall. Letting go of Butler for Thompson would be a downgrade for the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat are in the midst of a potential season-altering 7-game losing streak that has dropped their record to a game over 500. It takes only a quick look at the Eastern Conference standings to see the difficult place that puts last year's conference champions in, with less than half a season to turn things around. Meanwhile, Jimmy Butler is 34 years old and showing signs of decline. He's also eligible for a contract extension this offseason and could reportedly be seeking Jaylen Brown money. If this season doesn't go as planned, the Heat could be forced to think about the next era this summer. But if things keep going south in the next few days, perhaps they could come to that conclusion even sooner. Probably not, but it's still worth the thought exercise. Here are some trade ideas for if the Heat decides to make the ultimate pivot ahead of the February 8 trade deadline. Jimmy Butler goes back to Philly. In a twist, Butler heads back to Philadelphia to team back up with Joel Embiid. Only this time, there is no Ben Simmons or residue drama. Instead, Butler joins a ready-made contender and can be the piece that puts the 76ers on the same level as the Boston Celtics and Milwaukee Bucks in the East. Butler to Sacramento Kings. After last season's feel-good playoff run, the Sacramento Kings have a hunger to leap to the next level. Unfortunately for them, their defense still comes in as below average. Adding Butler can provide the Kings with a competitive backbone. While Butler might not be thrilled to get traded to Sacramento, he'll be walking into a team with an offensive foundation that he can play off of. De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis are an elite 2-person game, and certainly more potent than Tyler Herro and Bam Adebayo on that end. Butler wouldn't have to be the leading scorer and could focus on doing the little, winning things that the Kings are looking for. Butler on Beta Street. The Grizzlies' season is virtually done, but if they can get Butler for a low price with the goal of contending again the next year, it might be worthwhile to investigate. Here, the Grizzlies assist Miami in retooling around Bama Adebayo by trading a collection of role players and a potential first-round pick. For the upcoming campaign, Butler joins Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr., who are returning to the Grizzlies. Butler to Houston. It's not a secret that the Rockets are aiming to return to playoff contention as soon as possible, and Butler would help them get there. Butler, a Houston native, might welcome a return to his home city. The Rockets have contracts to help match the salary and several young players that could pique Miami's interest. The Heat might ask for Jabari Smith Jr., the third overall pick in 2022, who has taken a backseat in the front court to Alperen Sengun. At 6'11", Smith is shooting 38% from three this season and has the makings of being a high-level, versatile defender. He'd be a great fit with Adebayo in Miami's front court. Dillon Brooks would help replace Butler's defense on the wing and just seems like the kind of player who would take Heat culture seriously. Butler to the Bay. Next to Steph Curry, the Warriors need a legitimate no. 2. So I wonder what the Heat would think if Mike Dunleavy Jr. phoned the front office and offered Butler and Caleb Martin in exchange for Klay Thompson's expiring contract and the youthful Jonathan Kuminga. In the remaining time of Curry's contract, both players contribute to the Warriors' efforts to address important concerns. The Heat would receive Kuminga to help spark the post-Butler rebuild, and Thompson, who could help Tyler Herro reach his full potential as a catch-and-shoot player. What about a three-way deal? With the Mavericks playing well, this one might be more of a summertime move, but Dallas knows it has to maximize every Luka Doncic season. And if things don't work out this season, it could look to shake things up. Butler checks a lot of boxes in terms of a clear no. 2 on the wing who can boost the defense. The Lakers have flirted with reuniting Kyrie Irving with LeBron James in the past, but the Heat have not shown interest in Irving when he's been available. So a three-way deal might make the most sense. The Heat ended up with D'Angelo Russell, Austin Reeves, Gabe Vincent coming back, and a future first-round pick. This is a move that would precede another move. The Heat might look to move one of Russell or Reeves for forward help, but this is a start when it comes to replenishing their assets. What about Cleveland? What if the Heat called the Cavaliers and offered Butler for Donovan Mitchell? The Cavs at least have to have a meeting about it, right? Nobody in Cleveland seems to believe Mitchell will be there long term, and they need to find a way to close the gap between them and the clear top three in the East, the Celtics, Bucks, and 76ers. Butler gets them there. If the Cavs think Mitchell is leaving anyway, it could make sense to trade him sooner rather than later. This deal also makes the most of whatever is left of Butler's prime. He can play off of Darius Garland and Evan Mobley, be helped by Max Struss and Sam Merrill's spacing, and give the Cavs the oomph they need to match up in the playoffs. In Mitchell, the Heat get their superstar of the present and future, who just so happens to be a natural pick-and-roll partner with their current franchise player. The Miami Heat, led by Jimmy Butler, are struggling. After Monday's home loss to the Phoenix Suns, they have now lost 7 straight games. For months, the Heat have been the subject of trade speculation. Under Pat Riley's direction, Miami's front office is constantly assertive and ready to act. It might be the same this season. Given their present difficulties, Miami might be considering making a major trade such as Jimmy Butler, at least in the opinion of NBA commentator Kendrick Perkins on ESPN. In light of the present downturn, the former NBA big man suggested that the Heat cut ways with their star player. He desires Butler to play for a team that has a shot at the championship. I believe the Miami Heat need to do right by Jimmy and trade him to a team that actually could compete for a title this season, Perkins said. The Heat, of course, were just in the finals last season. They seem a ways away from the team that made it that far after a dismal January. However, Miami was an 8 seed last year, so there is still a chance for a comeback. If Miami does trade Butler, where could he land? Let us know in the comments. That's all for now. For more videos like this, subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.